Secular Atheist presents Intelligent Design. In this presentation, I will argue how this world and universe we live in isn't designed for our benefit. However, I will cover the superficial illusion of design, that being complex organisms, are the result of unguided, natural cumulative processes. There is design in a world such as a watch, or commonly known as the Watchmaker argument, as to which if we can design complex structures, other biological complexity must be designed by an intelligent agent. These phenomena don't happen by accident or chance as creationists assert. However, they do come into being from slow, gradual steps to quote-unquote design something in light of natural processes given a large amount of time. Complex structures must have something complex to design them, so this recoils back at the designer being complex and would suggest a designer as well. In the absence of observable, measurable evidence, the very question, what designed the designer, leads to an infinite regression from which the intelligent design proponents can only escape by resorting to religious creationism or logical contradiction. Thomas Aquinas' version of the watchmaker analogy argued that, in the same way that a watch has evidently been designed by a craftsman, complexity and adaptation seen in nature must have been designed. And the perfection and diversity of these designs shows the designer to be omnipotent. Theists say they have evidence of an intelligent designer because the curvature of a banana fits perfectly into the human hand. It has a rubbery grip so that it won't slip from our hands. In the same way a soda can has a ring pull on the side to open it, the same can be said for a banana for peeling. This argument I found extremely interesting, while at the same time grasping at straws in a desperation to prove a deity. Nature and the universe have had to be designed because life is suitable within our specific environment. Specific is emphasized because all over the universe, life is unachievable in their conditions, and we will die instantaneously. Our neighboring galaxy, Andromeda, is approaching the Milky Way galaxy at 68 miles per second. Scientists say Andromeda's tangential, or sideways velocity, with respect to the Milky Way, is relatively much smaller than the approaching velocity, and therefore is expected to directly collide with the Milky Way in about 4 billion years. Not to fear, the galaxies will most likely merge together, which is called an elliptical galaxy. The universe is expanding as we know it, and it will eventually gravitationally collapse within itself. Now that's scarier than any passage in the book of Revelation. If we were to venture into the inner solar system, you'll be a sitting duck in the middle of a firing range because of the chaotic asteroid belt. Some say our planet is designed by a supreme intelligence and is well suited for our survival. This is true in most cases. However, let's not forget that tsunami of the sort we seen in Asia, which obliterated 250,000 people. Unpredictable earthquakes on a scope and scale that level cities like that one in Haiti. Volcanoes. tornadoes. Diseases. Lightning strikes. Hurricanes. And floods all indicate that this world wasn't designed with us in mind. We have our conflicts of wanting to kill each other in wars due to our greatest trait, which is survival at all costs. But let's not forget nature wanting to kill us as well. Moving on to an interesting scientific dissecting experiment by Richard Dawkins. We are used to seeing elegant animals to which we have the illusion of design. And these flaws are what we should expect from an inheritance of historical change. The extreme detour of the recurring laryngeal nerves, about 15 feet in the case of giraffes, is cited as evidence for evolution. The nerve's root would have been direct like in fish-like ancestors or modern tetrapods, traveling from the brain, past the heart, to the gills as it does in modern fish. Over the course of evolution, as the neck extends and the heart becomes lower in the body, the laryngeal nerve was caught on the wrong side of the heart. Natural selection gradually lengthened the nerve by tiny increments to accommodate, resulting in the roundabout route now observed. No intelligent engineer would design such a detour, when it could travel to its destination, which is nearby the brain. An engineer has foresight, and could change the blueprint of what they are going to design while evolution does not. All living organisms descended from a common ancestor, therefore related. Order cannot come from random modification of descent by itself. This is when my buddy Charles Darwin came upon the scene. Charles Darwin discovered that variation exists within populations of organisms. This occurs partly because random mutations occur in the genome of an individual organism, and these mutations can be passed on to offspring. Throughout the individual's lives, their genomes interact with the environment to cause variations in traits. Individuals with certain variants of the trait may survive and reproduce more than individuals with other, less successful variants. Therefore, the population evolves. Nature doesn't have foresight, and is usually difficult to survive in. As time goes on, and over several generations, organisms are well suited for survival, thus reproducing and multiplying. This is called natural selection, which is the key mechanism for evolution. The progression of this natural process, even though it's unguided by a conscious mind, can produce complexity in a vast array of magnificent conceptions. We as humans see variational traits in vegetation, such as better taste or sweetness, and select them for consumption. Some plants and vegetation replicate to be identical to the original plants, while some random genetic variation occur. Some of these variations will be disregarded due to others' beneficial traits. Then the vegetation farmer sees which one has the most beneficial trait and only allows this one to reproduce. And over long periods of time, create even more positive traits. This careful selection of positive traits allowed a particular plant to evolve. This is called artificial selection. This has been a Secular Atheist production. Thanks for watching this presentation. Please feel free to give that subscribe and like button a click. Follow me on Twitter and have a look at some of my previous presentations on screen.